Okay, Diary of Wimpy Kid, Wrecking Ball. We're starting off here on page 21. I told Raleigh he'd better start doing his job or he was going to get fired. But Raleigh said it wasn't a real job anyway because he wasn't getting paid. I explained that I hadn't sold anything yet and didn't have any money to pay him with. So when he said he was leaving, I told him he could pick out one item from my table, from any table, and that could be his payment. Raleigh seemed pretty excited about that idea, and I thought for sure he'd choose the magnet set, but he headed straight for the rare items table instead. I explained that those things were for paying customers only, and that maybe he'd be interested in something from the fun toys table, but Raleigh wouldn't budge. Eventually, he settled on the vampire bat shield, and I was okay with that because it was really just a broken umbrella. But now Raleigh was so worried about bats that he couldn't concentrate on his job. While Raleigh was fooling around with his stupid umbrella, I thought I saw a guy take an action figure from the collectibles table and stuff it in his pockets, so I ran over to deal with him. But the only things in the guy's pockets were some used tissues and car keys. I'm glad I was staying alert, though, because I headed off a major disaster. A pickup truck pulled alongside the curb, and some guy from Worley Street started piling my stuff into the back. I asked him what he was doing, and he said that since tomorrow was trash day, he thought the stuff by the curb was up for grabs. Uh-oh. But I didn't have time to explain the concept of a yard sale to this guy because of all this. All of a sudden, I had an even bigger problem to deal with. It started to rain, and everyone was heading back to their cars. I was worried I might never get this many people to come to a yard sale again, and I wanted to sell something to make all the effort worth it. So I went around and marked down the prices on every item. That was smart. He's a good salesman. Let's see how that works. Then it started to really rain, and I knew I was going to have to do something drastic. I threw a bunch of stuff into boxes and offered even bigger discounts. By then, it was too late anyway. I knew that if I didn't get my stuff inside, it was all going to get ruined. So I asked Raleigh to keep his umbrella over my most valuable items while I ran everything else into the garage, but Raleigh wasn't any help at all. He said his shift had just ended and it was time for him to go home. So I was on my own. I tried carrying a box of comic books into the garage, but by now the box was soggy and the bottom gave out. Blush! Everything fell on the ground. This is when he needs his friend to help him. And where's his friend? Going home. It took me about 100 trips to get everything into the garage, but I probably shouldn't have even have bothered because most of my stuff was already ruined. I figured I could still make one sale though. I told Mom that paper flour was all hers for $3. Unfortunately, by then, she changed her mind. Wednesday. I'm actually kind of glad nobody bought anything from my yard sale the other day, because if I ever get famous, that stuff is going to be worth a lot more money than I was asking for it. I'd feel pretty dumb if I sold one of my old homework assignments for 50 cents and then someone auctioned it off later on for a few $1,000s. Sold to the gentleman in the striped tie. One day they'll probably make my childhood home into one of those places schools visit on field trips. Wow. And if that happens, they're going to want to have all the authentic stuff I owned growing up. The reason I'm not already famous is because when you're a kid, they keep you busy with school and homework, so there's not a lot of time left over to make a name for yourself. But one of the ways a kid can actually get famous is by becoming a hero. My parents watch the news every night, and there's always a story about a kid saving someone from choking or something like that. The problem is those kinds of opportunities don't come around that often. And believe me, I've tried to put myself in the right place for that sort of thing to happen. But I've gotten kind of tired of waiting, so I decided to try and create a situation where I was guaranteed to be a hero. I figured if I saved someone from a dog attack, they'd make a statue of me and put it in the town park, which would be pretty cool. Riley didn't seem so sure about my idea when I explained it to him, but when I said he'd be a part of the statue too, he changed his tune. So I got some bacon out of our refrigerator and had Riley stuff it in his pockets. Then we went around the neighborhood looking for some dogs. We did attract some dogs, but they weren't the kind I was looking for. Okay, so he's banging here. He says bang, bang, bang. He's banging things, making noises, trying to get the animals to him. And here comes some dogs, but they would like these little tiny ones, the yip, yip, yip dogs, not barking dogs. They were just little dogs. Riley got so nervous about the dogs following us that he ate the uncooked bacon, which I've heard can be really bad for you. So I told his parents what happened, and they took him to a doctor just to be sure. I guess I saved Riley's life after all, which does sort of make me a hero if you think about it, but I don't know if that's really the kind of thing they make into a statue. Maybe I'm thinking too small with this statue idea anyway. If I do something really big, they'll make my birthday into a national holiday. That would be pretty awesome because then everyone will get the day off from school and work and they'll have me to thank for it. The thing is, whenever there's a day off from school for a national holiday, I never even think about the person it's named after. I just hope that my holiday, people will spend the whole day reflecting on my life. But with my luck, they'll just use it as an opportunity to sell furniture or something. Okay, April, Sunday. All the rain we've been getting has been making everything grow like crazy. And that really stinks because it's my job to weed our garden. I don't know why mom gave me this job because she knows I'm bad at it. I can't tell the difference between a weed and something that's supposed to be in the garden, and I keep ripping up the wrong stuff by mistake. I'm still not convinced there actually is a difference between a weed and a plant. I bet there are places in the world where people think asparagus is a weed, and right now there's some kid my age busting his hump pulling it up. I don't understand why grass isn't considered a weed, because it sure looks like one to me. But people like my dad spend their entire weekends trying to get their lawn to look just right so they can impress their neighbors. I'll tell you this, when I get a place of my own, I'm going to pave the whole yard. That way I can spend my weekends enjoying myself. He doesn't have to do any yard work. If he did that, I guess he could park anywhere since he paved it. I'm going to have a ton of money by paving the yard. My dad spends a fortune on lawn fertilizer, and I don't think that stuff's good for you. And the proof is my neighbor Fregley, who's always out in his yard right after they spray. I'm pretty sure all those lawn chemicals can mess with your genes. So if I end up with a third eye or something, I'm going to blame my parents. When I have my own place, everything's going to be different. And I'm not just talking about the lawn either. I used to think I wanted to live in a big mansion with a giant gate around it, but then I realized if I was famous, everyone would know where I lived. So my new plan is to build a really small house that doesn't attract a lot of attention, and then all the good stuff will be underground. I've got ideas for what's going to go on in each level. In fact, I just finished designing the 5th floor last week, and it's probably my favorite. Oh my goodness. So here's his map of, he shows what he's doing here, his house. So this is his tiny little house that he's talking about building, but underneath it, he's got all this great stuff. So here he's got a basketball place to play basketball, place to watch movies, ice cream shop, swimming pool. Those are on different floors. He has a big trampoline park, which everybody needs one of those at their house. A rotating restaurant, laser tag arena, an arcade, archery, secret candy stash, and a bowling alley. You know what? I want to move in there with him. Okay, we're going to end there for now. Until next time, this is Miss Pulliam with Diary of a Wimpy Kid Wrecking Ball. See you soon. Happy reading.